We're with Amy Huhn, who won the Little East Conference and New England Alliance Pole Vault Championships this past weekend at the University of Southern Maine, jumping a 10-10, which is a new Eastern Connecticut record. Amy, you became the first female pole vaulter not from the University of Southern Maine to win the championship. When you got there and got prepared and started warming up, did you feel like it might be a special day for you?
I was excited because I knew it was my last indoor LEC championship meet, and I had to give it my all if I wanted to win. I knew that there was someone else from USM that had gone 10 feet, so I knew that there was decent competition, but with the way warm-ups were going, I didn't think I was going to have a great day.
At what point do you feel like you're going to have a great day in terms of your approach? When you're running down the runway, can you sort of feel like, hey, this is going to be a good one?
I think the plant is where you realize the most, all right, this is going to be a good jump, I'm going to clear it.
Well, talk about how that proceeded, how you ended up going 10-10. How did that proceed? And talk about where they set the bar to start with and how many jumps it took you at each time.
They started the bar at 6 feet and they go up 6 inches each time. I decided to pass to 9 feet, and I cleared 9 and 9.6 on my first attempts, and then at 10, 10.6, and 10.10 I cleared it all on my second attempt.
When you cleared it at 10.10, when you planted the pole, did you feel everything was very good?
When I planted, yeah. I thought it was going to be a good jump.
And did you have a lot of room to spare?
Yep, I did. It gives me a hope for my 11 jump that I'll actually clear it.
Well, I think there's a lot of people that don't understand pole vaulting. It's very different than other, like just running, the 5,000 or the 55 or anything like that. Talk a little bit about what goes into being successful in the pole vault, all the little intricacies.
You have to make sure you are in the right mindset that you're going to have a good jump. You have to make sure you have speed on the runway so that you'll be able to move the pole. And then you have to make sure your plant goes down at the right time. Make sure your standers are set at the right depth so you know that you're going far enough into the pit to clear the height. And then you just have to make sure that you are ready to go.
Talk about the pole itself and talk about the last couple of weeks or from the beginning of this indoor season. Talk about the pole that you used and talk about that you had changed your pole at some point.
I started on a 13-foot pole at the beginning of my season, and it became too soft, so I went back down to a 12-foot pole, but it had a lower flex number, which means that it's stiffer. And then I was crushing that pole, so I went back to a 13-foot pole and had a low flex number, and then moved to one that was a little stiffer. And I have one more that I could move on to if I need to at my next meet.
Well, you talked about before that the pole that you used for that jump you had not used before in competition?
I had not. It was my first time ever jumping on it. I hadn't done any drills on it. I hadn't even run with it. So it was my first time getting on that pole.
Wouldn't that be a last resort kind of thing? Would you really want to go into a competition like the Little East? Like, you would think maybe you would feel safer with a pole that you had used.
Yep, but I knew it was what I had to do. I knew I needed a bigger pole, one that was longer and stiffer in order to go higher. And it was all that I had, so I knew I needed to make the best of it.
Over the course of the year, it's a long season from indoor to outdoor. Mm-hmm. Do you feel like you're getting stronger as this indoor season is coming along?
I do. I think we've prepared a lot for conference and for postseason, and then I'm ready to see what outdoor has after this season's over.
Well, talking about preparing, how do you prepare when you don't have an indoor facility in the winter of your own? Like Eastern doesn't have an indoor, it doesn't have a pit. How do you prepare yourself?
I just do conditioning with the team, so I make sure that I'm in shape and ready to go for the season. And I'll do pole runs or go to Holy Cross with Coach Hugazian and Dr. Batherson, or go to Wyndham High with Coach Zadroga. and get some attempts, but that will only be once a week if I'm lucky. If not, then I just have to make competition my practice and competition.
Do you feel that that puts you at a disadvantage, or at the Division III level in our conference, there are not a lot of indoor facilities for the competitors for the pole vault?
I think for the most part, everybody's in the same situation. They don't have a place to go pole vault, and I think it either will benefit you or not. It's what you make of it, really.
Mm-hmm. You talked about Brian Batherson, who's the pole vault coach here, volunteer coach. Brian showed up at the meet. How important is it to have your coach when you're competing?
I think it's very important because he's really knowledgeable in pole vault, and he always encourages me. Even when I have bad meets, he's like, all right, well, you got it on the next one. Or even with pole vault, like, you have 3 attempts at each height, so he'll be like, all right, you need to work on this in order to get it. And during warm-ups, he knew I wasn't having good warm-ups, and he's like, all right, you can have a good meet, you can have bad warm-ups and still perform well. And it was nice to hear that from my coach and have him there to support me.
How much is confidence in this event?
A lot of confidence, a lot.
You, your freshman year, you had a teammate who was a pole vaulter, and then she left, and you've pretty much been on your own for the last 3 years. Would you prefer which scenario would you prefer? Having a teammate that pole vaults with you, or just to be left alone to do your thing by yourself?
I would prefer to have a teammate so that they can be there to support you, tell you what you need to work on, and just so you have someone to talk to while you're warming up and say, all right, we're in this together. Like, even if you're competing against each other, you're still helping each other to say, all right, you need to work on this part of your jump. So then if my coach can't make it, I'll have someone else that can help me.
Having jumped for 4 years here, do you develop a camaraderie or at least a familiarity with the other competitors that you go against on a weekly basis?
Most of the people that I vault against, I'll vault against at multiple meets throughout the season, and they usually are in our conference, so I'll know who they are. I vaulted with Amy Auclair from Westfield since our freshman year. She's a senior as well, and we've always seen each other at other meets, and we compete against each other in conference. And I think we have established a relationship that we can say, all right, good luck, and not be disappointed if the other one beats each other.
It's almost like, since pole vault, at least for females, is so unique, it almost like is a bonding thing, wouldn't you think? Because it's a very select few that do it.
Yeah, there's not a lot of people at conference that pole vault.
Yeah. And last question, you broke the Eastern record indoor. Now you have the rest of the indoor, which would be postseason, New England's Open, ECAC, and then you have outdoor. Is there anything that remains that you would have as a goal before you graduate?
I want to go at least 11 feet before I graduate, so I know that, all right, I can clear 11 feet. I know I can clear it not in competition, so I'd like to be able to do it in competition and say, I did it. I made 11 feet in my college career.
That would be a lot to be able to say.
Yep.
Right. And thank you. Good luck in postseason.
Thank you.